What's up, everybody? It's your boy King Hussle, and yes, this is the best money and credit channel on YouTube. So make sure you subscribe and hit the all notification bell. So whenever I drop new sauce and lessons, new methods and giveaways, you'll be the first one to be notified. You'll be the first one to know what's going on, and hey, you might be the first one to win something for free. So make sure you subscribe and hit the all notification bell on all the YouTube channels. Also, make sure you follow me on my Twitch, King Hustle Live. I do all my freebies and giveaways from those YouTube channels and the Twitch. So make sure you subscribe and hit the all notification bell so you won't miss out on nothing. Also, make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms. All you gotta do is put the title on every video. Once you put the title on every video, at the bottom in the description, all my social media links will pop up. All right. Got a lot of fake King Hustle pages out there, so please get a FaceTime verification call or video to make sure you see this face. Make sure you are doing legit business and you are getting what you paid for, right? And before we get anything started, this is all educational purposes only, not telling anybody to do anything. So let's get this thing started. Hey, let's get this thing started. Hey, what to do, my real King Hustle fans, supporters, subscribers out there, my real Hustle Nation Empire family members. Here we are back at it again with the gems, back at it again with the sauce, back at it again with the information that's going to turn you into a boss. So you tired of being a zero? You ready to be a family hero? Listen up, take a seat, get your notepad and get your pen because you already know when I drop these videos, get them notifications. There's going to be some information that's going to help you win, keep you informed, or keep you entertained. So with that being said, you know how we get down over here on this channel. We back at it again with the new fraud scams, the new fraud tactics, the new fraud methods. That's the hacker scams that's going on in today's world because it has been a spike, a rising spike of a lot of people getting into this dark world, this dark web world, committing a lot of scams and committing a lot of fraud. Now, why have people been getting into this world? Well, it's almost like like you know how back in the day the government put the white stuff in the government in the streets for people to use and stuff. It's like the government put this stuff in the world. It's been going on for a long time, but ever since COVID-19, scams and fraud have been up 600 to 800%. So many new people have been in this world. Everybody's trying to get a fast buck. Everybody's tired of working. And if you're on social media scrolling up and down all day, every day, everybody on social media, especially Instagram, Facebook, and all day you scrolling up and down from mamas to kids to grannies to granddads, you seeing people flash money, and and they promoting different type of methods, scams, and whatever glitches and loads, and it's brainwashing people to want to indulge with it. Now, it's a lot of people that's starting to get into this world that's starting to make a lot of money, and it's a lot of people that's getting into this world that's starting to get a lot of time in jail. And could be at the end of the day, these things that people are doing, it's not legal. But at the end of the day, wherever there's money being made, there's going to be some type of scam or fraud being committed. So a lot of people have been targeting banks. A lot of people have been utilizing personal credit and business credit and different methods to utilize to get some type of revenue. Now we've been talking about the spoofing. We've been the spoof call method where people are acting as if they're the bank's fraud department and scamming people into or tricking people or social engineering people into either wire transferring money to other accounts or taking money out and giving it to them. We got the SIM card swapping where people have been taking over people's SIM card and changing the service to theirs and loading apps and logging into different platforms and doing different things. And that's big with a lot too. That's we're gonna be talking about that soon too. Then we got identity theft where people have been stealing people's identities and getting loans, credit cards, lines of credit, apartments, cars. And now we have it where people are starting to learn about account and route numbers. And people are starting to learn that one, account and route numbers are used for different things such as checks and ACH transfers. Now, a lot of people don't pay attention to where we are buying things online and it says, do you want to pay from an account? It gives you different options. You can pay from a bank account. You can load money on a cash app from a bank account. You can load money on different platforms from a bank account. You can do a lot of different things. So wherever there's money being made, there's going to be some type of scam or fraud being committed. And now people are starting to utilize account and route numbers because now they're learning that. See, a lot of people didn't even know the numbers on the bottom of checks is the account number and the route number. It's the account number that the money is coming out of and the route number of the bank. People didn't even know that. Now they're starting to figure that out. And due to the world having so much new technology, people are starting to be able to create checks that look 100% real, but they're not. So this new check method that's been going on is people have been getting account and route numbers and basically creating checks. Now, scammers primarily obtain account and route numbers by stealing legitimate checks from mailboxes, and we all know people have been robbing mailboxes lately, different mailboxes. At first, when they used to rob mailboxes, they used to just rob any mailbox and steal mail out of there and see whatever that they get. Now they're figuring out that, or doing their math or their research and knowing that, okay, businesses are the only people that really mail out checks nowadays, especially for invoices and things like that. So they're starting to stalk businesses and get their schedule on track to see when they mail out checks to be able to steal those type of checks, stealing those checks and trying to do whatever with them, cash them, steal the information off of them, and all different type of things. Now, those checks also includes the victim's name and address, and this information can also be purchased on the dark web. We all know this information can be purchased on the dark web, right? So the tools that they use when it comes to making these checks. Now, with stolen details, scammers or fraudsters use common computer technology to design counterfeit checks. Now, like I've been telling y'all before, hackers have been compromising different business databases, getting certain templates and information to create these checks. Now, the software, they use photo editing and desktop publishing software like Word template um, to design the check template that mimics the legitimate check, often using logo and address of the real bank. Now, it's not hard to get a logo or a real address to a bank. A lot of times, okay, we all got iPhones, right? And I'm just giving you guys an example. We all got iPhones. Well, most of us have iPhones. So when we take a picture, and if you hold the picture, hold it down, it will crop out a certain part of that image. Okay, it might crop out just that person. So just imagine, and it's called a PNG, where you could just get the logo and then you can stick it on anywhere and then you can see through it and all different types of stuff. So it's a lot of different ways people get the PNG for different logos. And that's a real common way that people get the PNGs and the real logos for checks because it's all on the internet. So the hardware, high quality color printers and scanners are used to produce convincing copies. Now, these are used because one, if somebody has a legitimate check from a bank and they're trying to mimic that by them scanning that check on this computer, they have a lot of different options. Like you can, if that person was to scan that check and get the right color printer or the right printer, and they got the right check paper, they basically can recreate that bank's check. And a lot of people don't understand that these things that people are doing when it comes to creating checks are the same things that these businesses are doing because at the end of the day, these banks aren't making the checks. These banks are going through third party companies to get their checks made. And a lot of people are figuring this information out. So the materials that these people, the scammers and fraudsters use to make these checks. So scammers can purchase blank check stock paper online or from office supply stores, which they manually do. But people have, like I said, they trying to make it happen. So they say, no, nah, we're not going to keep using this. First of all, people burn out certain check paper. So banks are starting to understand, like, look out for this paper, look out for this person and different stuff like that. And a lot of times the paper don't even have a certain security holograms and stuff in it. So now people are starting to learn, like do their research and figure out what checks paper do these banks use. Okay, where do they get the paper from? Because banks use third party companies to create their checks, meaning that they don't just that third party company does not only create that bank's check, it creates many different businesses, many different banks, and many personal checks for people. So you might not know, but this company might got the same check paper as this bank, or this company or this person might this personal checks might be the same exact check paper as this bank's. People don't be knowing that. So it's a lot of times that people get figure out where to get this actual check paper from. So some even use special magnetic ink, the MICR ink, for the bottom line of the numbers to make the check more likely to pass initial bank processing. So the numbers at the bottom of the checks use special ink, which is the MICR ink. And all these things are a legal product. Like the ink, you can buy that online. The MICR ink. So because people use these checks for real businesses. So people are figuring these things out, this information out, in order for them to create these fake checks. So they got the scanner. They scanning checks, getting the templates, getting PNGs, and they getting information off the dark web. It's all this information is right in front of our faces. And a lot of people are jumping in the water and diving into the deep end, and they're finding this information, which is the dark web. So altering checks, so counterfeit checks, they create entirely new checks using victims' information. Like I said, depending on how they gathered this check via the dark web, stolen out the mailbox, will determine which route this person will go. Because like I said, it's different routes that people go. They might want to act as an employee. They might want to leave the information the same on a check. They might want to. It's different routes. So altering a check, they might wash the existing legitimate checks with chemicals to erase the original payee in an amount and rewrite new information. So there are chemicals out here that will wipe away the ink off checks, and people figure that out via acetone, brake fluid, and a lot of different chemicals that they use. But that's just two of them that they use, and that's not all. So don't be like, oh, I'm gonna get that. No, no, that's just some of the stuff that they use. Just an example. So cooking, so they might scan the legitimate check digitally after the image, payee name and amount, then print the multiple fraudulent checks. So scanners are popular, and it'd be people out here that got portable check scanners and printers and stuff like that. They be in the cars and everything. Like people really will drive around just making checks and hitting up banks like they selling narcotics. Like it's real crazy. So the cashing out part. So the fraudulent checks are then deposited quickly, often through ATMs or mobile banking apps. Like I said, people, due to the banks and the government making it easier for people to do their daily needs and get the money that they need, they're also making it easier for the scammers and the fraudsters because they're doing the exact same thing the exact same way, just with fraudulent information. So often through ATMs or mobile banking apps to exploit the time it takes for the check to be identified as fake in floating time. So the scammer then processes pressures the victim, often through the overpayment scam or the fake job offer, to send money through available funds before the bank discovers that the check is invalid. So a lot of times, like I said, people will come up and think of any type of crazy scheme in order to do anything. So you got people out here that's trying to buy items, and then they send a check and then overpayment, and then people knowing that people thirsty and knowing they gonna cash that check and try to keep the funds. Some people have this, basically they cash in a fake check for them, then they send them back the money to overdraft funds. You got people that's stealing business checks and scanning them and remaking them. You got people that's stealing account and routing numbers and making checks from different places, from people to banks to jobs. You got a lot going on in today's world. So we're gonna take a look at a man that was scammed almost out of $800,000 with this scam. Somebody got a hold of his banking account information and route number, and they was making checks and depositing them, and the banks were cashing them, and they cashed it for about $800,000. So with that being said, let's check out this story.
90-year-old scammed out of his life savings, and the bank said they couldn't help.
That's when we reached out to 7 on Your Side. Eyewitness News reporter Carlos Granda shows us how he helped get the man his 800 grand back.
At 90 years old, Irving Rosenberg moves slowly. Walking is difficult.
That's crazy how they be targeting all these old people, but they be the.
Now isn't his health.
This is why.
Of nearly everything he saved over a lifetime.
I was very angry and frustrated. He took all my life savings.
He got to sell all my fucking money.
I was hurt.
Rosenberg says the withdrawals from his savings account began in April. Check after check, all in the tens of thousands of dollars, adding 800.
And this is what I mean. Fake checks adding up to $814,000. That's wild. Look at these fake checks.
$14,000. Rosenberg says he never wrote checks from that savings account and never authorized anyone else.
Now, how did that account get how did this happen? And you never know. It could be an inside person. It could have been information leak, database leak, all different type of stuff. But you never know. And the way you just never know.
When he realized what was happening, he went to the bank, Wells Fargo, looking for help.
They put it to investigation. Investigation could go forever.
Rosenberg's nephew, who now helps manage his affairs, contacted 7 on Your Side and asked for help. He says when he looked at copies of the cash checks, he noticed right away the signature was phony.
If you look at all the checks that were written, none of them even have close to his signature.
Rosenberg received this letter from Wells Fargo. The bank said it's denying his fraud claim and that he can't be reimbursed because too much time had passed before he contacted the bank.
Nah, I be trying to tell y'all, these banks be acting like they don't want to pay back people money. Now, let's think about this. This man is 90 years old. But then again, the banks don't know what's going on. That 90-year-old man can be in cahoots with somebody that's having him do this. And he knows what's going on. So the banks don't be knowing what's going on. And at the end of the day, the banks tell us, we will not ask you for none of this information or do none of this. So if it happens and you do it, that's on you. A lot of these things be scams and not fraud. And people don't be knowing the difference. People just so blind and think they know everything and call everything a scam or everybody a scammer. No, everybody don't do scams and everybody don't commit fraud. This is fraud right here. Well, it might be a scam. Let's see what's going on.
His nephew was told there's a 60-day.
Oh yeah, this is fraudulent activity. Yeah, checks, stolen account information,
reporting window, a policy he believes ignores the realities facing.
But then right here it says scammed out of $800,000. He wasn't scammed. This is fraudulent activity.
Elderly customers.
See what I be saying?
I went back to him and said, wait a second, he's 90. He's got a little bit of dementia. He can't hear. He can barely walk. And you guys have no help at all for him.
Satin also wonders
They
why
still
such
wanna get
massive
people back their
withdrawals, and
paper.
many of them in the span of just a few weeks, weren't flagged.
I don't understand why something like this wasn't caught at all.
After we began asking questions, the family says Wells Fargo's executive office finally reached out.
Since I contacted you and you contacted them, they've contacted me at least 5 times.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I told y'all, banks don't be wanting to pay back the people, nobody their money. Now, when the banks get involved when people get involved with the news and they always gonna be broadcasted, that's when the banks want to pay back people their money because they don't want to be portrayed as an institution that holds people money that didn't pay back somebody's money that was scammed out of. Well, it's not a scam, but that's why you can really make sense to sound right. That was fraudulently had. Let's say that was fraudulently had out of $800,000 by just somebody easily getting his account and route number to that account and making fake checks, which is wild business. Banks don't want to go through the hassle of trying to find somebody who stole their money. Now they got to go through the hassle of finding that person to get their money back because they got to pay back this person almost $1 million. And if he was smart, he'd sue and get some more money. Shoot.
Absolutely more responsive. Yeah. Yes. Do I have a lot of confidence that he's going to see any money?
But people don't
I
be
don't know.
And
thinking
as we
like
were
that.
putting the story together, we got good news. Wells Fargo sending us an email and contacting the family that they were going to approve this claim.
Exactly.
Your nephew told us they weren't contacting you at all, but after we called them, suddenly they started contacting.
Yeah, well,
Out
I
the
thank
blue.
Channel 7 for doing that. All of us, I thank you.
The statement from Wells Fargo says, after working with our customer and their designated power of attorney and reviewing additional information, we are pleased to share that we are returning Mr. Rosenberg's money back to his account. Fraud prevention remains a top priority, and we encourage all customers to review their statements monthly and report anything suspicious right away so we can act quickly to protect them. Rosenberg told me he is very grateful. Until we got involved, he wasn't sure
Man,
he
be
would
like
ever
that,
see his
man.
money again.
Well, I feel much better.
I would
Be able
too.
to see it.
800, almost $1 million
From
got
Fargo,
back.
ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
And that's bogus. He almost 90, he
Scale your
almost 100
marketing.
years old. And they trying to take that man money, man. That's bogus, man. Get that man back his money, man. So with that being said, man, y'all see what's going on. We done watched so many different videos like these of different victims getting scammed or having fraudulent, getting had by fraudulent activity the same ways. Either it's with ghosts, spoof text messages or calls. If it's stolen identities, if it's with stolen account and route numbers, people are doing the exact same things the same way. So with that being said, it's all about being more safe, being more cautious, and being more aware of what's going on out there in the real crazy world that we all living in. Make sure you guys are getting Norton Life Lock to monitor all your financial and social media accounts to make sure no suspicious activity is going on. And monitor the dark web to make sure none of your personal information is on there floating around for anybody to buy. Make sure you guys are freezing all three of your credit profiles, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, so nobody can get anything in your name. No loans, credit cards, lines of credit, no cars, no apartments. Make sure you guys are getting new credit card and debit card numbers. We use these cards so much, and we tap, swipe, insert, order online, and we've been doing it so long with the same cards for years. And we never know when a compromise, leak, or hack what's going to happen. So with that being said, make sure you guys get new cards, because when you get a new card with new information, it's a fresh start. Now, old information will no longer be valid. So if it was part of a data leak, it won't even work. You'll be good. So make sure you guys are doing that. And with that being said, man, you know how I get down in these videos. Stay more safe, stay more cautious, and be more real. What's going on in this real crazy world that we all are living in? All right. So shout out to all my real King Hustle fans, supporters, subscribers out there, because without y'all, there'd be no me. Y'all motivate me to keep going. Y'all motivate me to keep dropping the sauce, and y'all motivate me to keep y'all entertained. So shout out to all of y'all. Anybody out there is tired of being broke because it ain't no joke? Let's get to work. FaceTime 101 limited gems are $1,000, but for limited time only, I'm doing it for 600. Yes, 600 cash app or Bitcoin payment. Once the 600 is on your cash app or Bitcoin balance, send me a screenshot. Let me know your payment ready, and we will go from there. All right. No screenshots, no replies, no 21 questions, and please do not yell me. Make sure y'all booking your seat on the webinars Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, $250. Make sure y'all booking your seat on the crypto tour in-person limited gems, $3,500. Make sure y'all booking y'all seat on the month-long mentorship, $1,000. Make sure y'all checking out my vendor platforms on Telegram and the Potato app. Still looking for people for the production company. Make sure y'all subscribe and hit the notification bell on my YouTube channels, my Twitches, my IGs, TikTok, Snapchats. Make sure y'all checking out the crypto world, because it's changing people's lives. And make sure y'all get in and y'all fit in with these load ups. All right, 120 and up. Don't miss out on the opportunity. Send them screenshots, cash out, Bitcoin payment when you're ready. All right. And with that being said, it's your boy King Hustle. Y'all know how to get down in these videos. I'll see you at the next lesson video or live. Peace.